Hey, the police it's illegal here. It's illegal here. It's my property here.
Has the police been here?
Yeah. Yes.
And they told him.
And I've told them the same thing.
He told them that he was the owner.
See, so you want to listen to what? You
Now
want to
it's
listen
a
to
legal
somebody
issue trying to
because
establish who is the
and
this is why
I'm telling you the truth.
for you to
Come
be
on.
able to erect this tent
Okay, so let's
and
just
do
sit
a
down.
little survey or whatever, put a sign up here by saying
I know,
that
because
people
of
can be redirected over there so that you can conduct.
I don't care what you believe.
Because we've got a
You think
big
it's
car
right,
park
right?
anyway.
One for the
So
police.
anybody coming over
Tell
there,
the police
you can
we do.
conduct that survey, etc.
You think you own it?
He
Who
wasn't.
is we?
So we have a chat on Monday. It goes through on Monday. But we're not taking it on Monday.
Today's Monday.
Pardon?
Today's Monday.
No, Saturday.
Saturday.
Well,
Yes, so
and
why
I'm
are you
saying
here
you.
now? Look, listen, you know what I just been saying to you? There's nobody else coming in. All you need to do is ask these few people to go, close that gate. When you builders people come to take this down, let them in to take it down, and we'll all be at peace then.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go through it until 4 o'clock. Do you have any more
Does it matter
Say,
about
come up, this is our property, you gotta leave. That's some point.
There's nobody else coming in now. In the sake of thinking about things, you're just not listening. You're not listening.
Get it done. Send it. Send it one.
I'm telling you, you gotta leave the property.
They're saying they gave out all those leaflets.
No, you're
Two people, and I live here, right round here,
You
whatever.
believe
Only two people that I know received it. Only me in my street, and other people have said the same thing. And then somebody else actually said, who was in that sort of business where it was here, he said, well, we know that, that's what people do. They leaflet the people that they want to know about it.
No, nobody. Listen, stop it.
Just
Then you'll find out who.
So boss, yeah, I'm recording for the local community and I run a local channel. So you guys could just give us some explanation of what's going on
Who are you?
with the Nelo James channel. I run a local TV channel.
Your TV channel.
Yeah, Must Side Talk TV.
You know what to do with me?
What
No, it's
TV
nothing
channel
to
are
do.
you with?
I run a local TV channel.
You run?
It's
Which
called Must Side Talk TV channel. I heard that you guys was gonna be here today, and that's why I come down, as you can see, and I'm recording. So have you guys got any explanation, anything you want to say to the community? Because this is the channel that they will find any information on.
And the proposals?
Anything.
Yeah, so it's all available on the website. If you look
So if you want to just talk us through what the plan is, so
Yeah.
just that people will be aware of what's going on.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not here to cause any,
Okay, yeah.
you understand? I'm just in the middle.
Yeah,
I'm just recording and highlighting, that's all I'm doing, yeah? So,
So what we have is, this is a picture that kind of shows the overall site here.
okay,
This is Withington Road along the bottom here.
okay,
This is the garden space to the side. These are the shops adjacent to the building here.
yes.
This is the oldest part of the building here. The,
Boss, please, boss, please, boss.
I'm trying to move, you're not listening.
so
Move. I don't want any. This is
You're
your
supposed to be
property.
the original.
Take it
Yeah, I'm
away.
taking
Your
everyone.
property, I don't want it. On.
So,
I just want to do this
boss,
piece here, okay?
excuse me, boss. Could you just give us some explanation, please? Just let's talk.
Listen,
'Cause-
let's
yes.
whoa,
Okay.
hold on a minute.
Okay.
I have nothing to talk. All I want to do is leave.
No,
Just
that,
leave.
but you can't say that because it's ignorance. You've got to come to some form of
Listen.
dialogue between the
The moment you
community.
start saying ignorance, suddenly I'm talking to you.
Felix,
What?
can you tell them that you're the original owner?
That's all they need to explain what's going on.
No,
So
you can't do that. You
Felix,
can't explain that. You
Why
can't do
not?
that.
If you can't do that,
You're
how
the
do you
ori-
explain
you're
them?
the
I will show
original-
you. I'll show it to you.
Yeah,
You want to know? I'll
yeah.
show it to you. But other people, you know, she knows.
Yes.
She knows. They know.
Felix,
I am the owner.
Felix, this is
They know.
this is the media.
Yeah.
He wants to put both
Yeah,
sides.
we're not,
What
okay,
media?
so Mark,
What media is
no.
this?
Right. He's going to put it on YouTube. Right. He's going to put this.
This is for the
conversation-
local community, Felix,
for the-
yeah? So I run a local channel for the local
And
community.
so
It's
what
called
we're doing
Must
is
Side
we'll
Talk
present
TV.
your side as well as their
So
side.
if you like to put your side out,
Hold on. I have no side to put out there here.
okay.
If you have to say something, say it.
No, I'm asking, I haven't got anything to
I
say.
have nothing to say.
Right.
Not going to do
Okay.
it.
All I want people is leave off, come off, go away.
Felix, can you tell him this is private property and you're
That's
the
what I'm
owner?
saying. 100 times I'm saying this is, even the police tell me I'm right. So don't know what's going on here. Leave.
It's private property.
He's claiming that
But
this
yeah,
is his
but it is
property.
private
Okay.
property.
That this is private property,
Okay.
and they've
People are
stepped on this
trespassing, and they didn't
illegally.
even
But
want
what they're saying
I'm
is
proof. Catherine's proof.
Yeah.
This
she used
gentleman's proof.
she used to
So-
be the manager over
so-
here,
so-
and she
so-
used to be the teacher over
So
here.
let's not talk. So everyone kind of heard. So what I heard is that this building has been sold. So who sold the building?
What? See?
He's saying he hasn't
Another,
sold it.
another discussion
It
again.
can't
See?
have been
No,
sold.
but it has to be a discussion because it cannot
No,
be.
no, it isn't a discussion.
Well,
Let me
there's no
explain.
discussion.
Okay.
There is a
Rubbish story is talking about discussion. There's no
irrevocable,
discussion. I'm the owner. End of
irrevocable
story.
trust
Okay.
from
No discussion. Please,
1971
can you go
Yeah.
before-
for the
Let's
Walton
take the baby
Cottage
off the
Trust,
discussion,
Okay.
man.
came from Vanessa Redgrave, who gave it to the trustees,
Yes.
of which the
One
last
statement.
remaining, unfortunately, the
Yeah.
rest have now died because we are all
Yeah.
very old now. And Mr. Daniel is the last original trustee.
And
Tell me, you tell me why-
And
why
Pasco
you-
was here, and he's now left, but those two are the last, and they are the original trustees.
Yeah.
And they have to be consulted
Okay.
in order to do anything with an irrevocable trust.
So
And that has not happened.
So is he not aware that the building has been sold, or has he?
Well, it can't be sold. You can't sell it. If it had gone through the process, which is a long, legal, expensive court process,
Yeah.
through and probably with Manchester County Council as well, it then has to go into the same sort of charitable for the community, and probably the community that was named, who were the same ones who came with the wind. I've lost the word.
Windrush.
I
Thank
know.
you, the Windrush.
Yes. So I don't cut you. So, but I've heard that there is a second place involved with the money to put
No,
this.
I was going to say, it's,
Okay,
but
it's
no,
not.
there is a
Well,
huge
a lady just said that
query.
before.
Let me put this to you, right? It has been, and this, he could have now, being like this, not being listened to, he could land up in hospital and have another stroke,
Yes.
and all these people have refused to really listen and take on. They think that they can
Bossman,
do it.
please, Felix, please.
He won't talk, he will not talk
I know, but it's
to
not.
sorry.
It's not appropriate the way it's happening.
I know, we know, but
He's just going to give himself an heart attack.
that's what I'm saying.
Ask these idiots to
But
get
we've
off the
asked them to leave.
We want
There's
these
no
people
reason for
off
them
the
to
land.
be here.
So
It's a big
Listen,
So I'm saying-
did you grow up round here?
No, I was born in Jamaica. I've just been here 21 years now,
Right.
so I don't really know much about the whole
Yes,
situation.
young.
Fair
Yes,
enough.
but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, yeah, from what I've heard around
Yeah,
the
yeah,
town, this building has been sold. Now, I'm not saying that. Now, if these people are saying that they've bought the building,
Yeah.
I'm saying they must have got some form of documents to
They
prove.
must have got something.
Exactly.
But there's a
So
big query on whether they went through the processes of everything.
I know, but think about it. It's 2022. I'm not trying to take their side because remember, I never met these guys. I just met them 2 minutes, just like I just met you. But they could never do that in 2022. Come and take someone's property. It just wouldn't work. Like, especially that iconic building. It just
It
wouldn't.
is, exactly. And the other thing is that I would just say that this, over the last 12 years,
Yeah.
since 2011, I think at least 3 times, 2011, I think it was 14 or 15, 2017 and 18, there have been for sale notices on it and sold. And every time,
Yeah.
those haven't gone through. So this building has been left, sadly, for those of us who know what it's like, in that sort of situation. Why? You have to ask why. What has happened?
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason for that. There's enough property around here that comes and goes just like that. So how can a building like this with this land have been in that situation? You have to ask why. And then when people say that they have sold it and they walk in without even talking to anybody, finding out what the situation is, and then when they are asked to leave, which they have been being asked, we're in this situation.
But I'm not disputing what you're saying. But do you think the way Felix is going about it is going to get him anywhere? Because I'm
No,
saying.
excuse me, let's not make a personal thing about that. There was a man with a dog here earlier
Okay, I
who's
was
been incredibly aggressive, but we are trying not to allow that. And we are also from different cultures, very very different cultures
Yes.
who behave in different ways.
Yes.
And they do lots of this and that.
Yeah, they do.
I came from a very rural British country,
Yeah.
and I can drop back into mine, and I would say, no, come on, let's just do this. This isn't the same culture. This is what has to be recognised.
Yes.
You cannot say to somebody, you are behaving wrong, because I don't recognise your culture for behaving like that.
Yeah.
And it is wrong. It is wrong. It is ageist. It is against the medical things. It is showing total lack of empathy. And people are standing there and there's really easy.
But my issue is, should we not have a bit more people from the community out there today supporting what Felix is saying?
Before you came, there were a lot of people. They actually have been here since 11 o'clock this morning.
Okay.
And a little while ago, they're all old.
Yeah.
You see, they're all in their 70s, if they're still alive, really. And that is all I really have to say. I'm just looking for the empathy, for the real humanity, and not this constant look at the documents. I'm sorry, I don't want to.
And also, can I just say, I've pleaded with these men to stop this and to finish now, because there's nobody else going to come in. Nobody's bothering now, so they could ask everybody to leave, get this building down as soon as they can. If they can't do it now, close the gate. This man has worked his fingers to the bone, Felix has, all these years. He's worked very, very hard. It's not his fault that somebody's pretending to have owned it and sold it. It's not his fault. These younger people have got these ways and means of doing things, and that's what's happened. And I've pleaded with them to just get rid of everybody so we can get him home before he does himself any more damage in his illness. But he's not listening either, because he's angry and he's upset because people aren't listening to him. And the same old story is a black man. So people don't take them seriously. And I know that because I've worked in the area for years and years, and I know that. So please, ask these two to get this stuff out, get the people off, and we can get him home.
Okay.
That's what we want.
Okay, so let me just finish with the gentleman and let him just explain what he was saying about the community. Could you just finish talking us through the plan, please?
Yes. So we're working with architects for about a year and a half, looking at different options around how development might happen on the site. So originally there was ideas, these big villa buildings.
Okay.
So originally there was ideas to have like 2 villa buildings. I know just merged 2 villa buildings, but all those ideas included the demolition of the original buildings.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple of meetings with the planning officers in the city council, and we also mapped the root protection areas for the big trees. The trees are very important for the conservation area.
Yeah.
Plus this building, or part of this building, is one of the oldest buildings in the conservation area. So it's from about 1840 roughly. It was a small farmhouse to begin with, and then it got extended. So after different meetings with the planning officers, they said, look, we think this building is more significant than originally thought. We'd really like you to try and retain that building. So at that stage then we kind of paused the process, had a look again, thought about what we might do. We then changed architects into a new architect, working with Ollie Smurthwaite. They've done some very nice work with older buildings, working in conservation areas, some very nice brick buildings. So they then kind of created a sort of simple diagram of what the next step might be. And that diagram was keep all the trees, keep the big garden space to the side, that's really good, retain the existing building, and then that kind of gave this sort of tarmac area here as the kind of area where development could potentially happen. And then we've got constraints include the building next door on Withington Road, the buildings behind on Whitby Avenue there as well. So taking that diagram, it kind of evolved 3 options, which go from, so it retains the big open space in the garden, retains all the trees, retains existing buildings, and then there's a sort of L shape that can link around the building. There's a sort of courtyard space in the middle that would have stairs and lifts in that. And the idea is that this one's kind of larger in scale and height, so it'd be similar height to the building next door, 138 Withington Road. It's sort of 2.5 stories at the back next to Whitby. In this option then the scale starts to drop down, and this leg at the back with Whitby Avenue gets lower, but it gets a little bit longer into the garden space. And then in this option down here, this is where the scale of the new building again drops down slightly again, and the leg in that kind of faces back onto Whitby Avenue is lower in height
So is that
again.
building that you're pointing at is where we're standing now? That would be, or is that on the retaining side?
That's the retained piece there. So that's the old building down there, and we're stood pretty much here.
Okay.
So this would be a zone for new building around there. And then there's some diagrams that kind of shows a very outline at this stage, kind of rough massing model. So that's the tallest option. Here it gets a little bit lower, and it gets a bit longer at the back, and here it gets lower again, and lower at the back and extending at the back as well.
Can I ask you a question? Is this affordable housing?
It would be private for sale.
Right, see, you're listening to that. It's not affordable housing for the local people, it's for rich people. Yeah? Got it? You listening?
All right.
Yeah. It's not affordable housing. It's for the rich.
So what's that plan over there? Is that
It's
anything
all,
to do with
it's all,
this?
listen,
Yes,
love,
that's about the
listen,
history
darling.
of the
It's
area.
all for rich people.
So that's talking about the first panel, talking about all about the conservation area and how Michael Samuel Brooks bought about 50 or 60 acres of land around here, and he planned out a kind of idyllic kind of suburban neighbourhood, laid out all the streets, and then built all the big villa buildings. So originally it was a very wealthy kind of suburb of Manchester, as obviously changed over time. And then the second panel is about the history of the building and how that was originally like a small farm cottage around about 1840, and then it was extended over time. It was a Red Cross centre, a small Red Cross hospital as well for a
This
period.
was the Red Cross Centre.
Here,
Yes,
yeah,
this was the Red Cross Centre. Yeah?
until around about
During the war, I
yeah.
can't remember offhand, but it was the Red Cross Centre. This is this building, and that's why people want to keep it. That's why people would like to be able to keep the building. But what we're concerned about is that when the nursery was here, and when the idea, that's what we wanted to be continued, for it to be for the ordinary people of the area. Now that this has changed, this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be posh flats for posh people, not for the community that live around here. I know there's probably some posh people around here.
Have you got anything to say on what she's saying, or is it? Have you got anything to add to what she's saying?
So then in the 1970, I think we were around about 1970, Vanessa Redgrave provided the money for it to be bought.
Yes.
It got turned into the Nelo James Centre. It ran successfully as that, I think, till around about 2010 maybe, I'm not
It ran
sure.
until the council pulled their funding. Because they
Roughly
couldn't pull it.
2010?
No, I can't remember the date. But it ran until they pulled the plug. It was a very, very successful centre in many ways. Football team, all sorts of things. Youth club, elderly people's club at the back of this building here. It was everything, but the council pulled their funding. That's it.
Yeah.
They tried to raise money, they tried to raise as much money as they could, but obviously without the help of the council, it
I've never taken my name off.
And then eventually they it went up for sale, I think, in 2019.
Yeah.
The company I work for bought it in January 2020, and then we've been working on designs since then. We've actually been also trying to speak to the Walton Cottage Education Trust, that were the original charity, I think, that was set up to run the place.
Okay.
And then eventually they did come back to us very recently, actually, with a letter. So they're happy for that letter to go into the public realm as well. So happy to share that letter with you.
Okay.
And
So could you elaborate on a bit of what the letter stated?
yeah, so so obviously we bought the building, paid a substantial amount of money for it. You can see on the Charity Commission website.
Yeah.
Where
Do you mind saying how much did you pay for the building?
850,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the land registry. It can be found.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
public
of
realm.
course. Just for the camera, basically, yeah.
And so as after buying it, we understood like the social significance of this building is very, very high. It's been an extremely important building in the community.
Yeah.
So we thought we were then also interested to say, well, that's great. It was run as a very successful thing for a long time. Then obviously it fell into disrepair and closed. So we were interested to know what was the charity's next steps, and because it was very obscure what those were. So. Their number went on the Charity Commission website a while ago, so we were able to contact them, and then we wrote to them. I mentioned we were having a public consultation about kind of new proposals. So they did write back to us, and they've said they're opening a new facility on Stretford Road, I think.
Okay, that's good.
So, and they've set that out in a letter to us, which has been helpful for us. Yeah. So, and that can go into the public realm if you want to publish that on your website. Or...
So the question I would ask is Felix is he part of the trust or the Waltham Trust, or is he?
He's not listed on the Charities Commission website. He's not listed as a trustee there. I believe he was a trustee in the past.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happened, so we're not experts.
So what happened?
Nobody's can take that away from him.
So could you explain him?
He and Pascoe, who unfortunately can't be here because he's got a sick wife and he lives in London. They are the both remaining trustees.
Okay.
Sadly, other trustees passed away, but they're the two remaining. And they
So if the trustees on the website that the gentleman just told us about, Felix name is not on that website.
No.
So, but then those trustees stated that they've bought a new premises
Precisely.
on Stretford Road.
Yes.
So that would signify that mean they are part of the community.
Well,
You didn't say so, no?
I can't say any more about that because apparently I could be in trouble if I said things. But I know for a fact that Felix and Pascoe are the remaining trustees. Take that what you will, and I can't say any more than that at the moment. But they are the original trustees. They were when I moved in as the nursery manager, and they were right to the end until things changed.
So you used to be the nursery manager?
I was the nursery manager. Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh gosh, 12 years. I was here for 12 years. I'm trying to think of the dates. I can't.
70s, 80s?
Oh, 70s, yeah.
Wow.
70s, yeah.
So you've been, so you've seen a lot.
Oh yeah, I've
lot
seen
of
such.
change.
Well, the lady that went before, her son's now 40,
Wow.
and I brought him up. She said, yeah. Johnny, and he's now a barrister.
Yeah. He's now a
Yeah,
barrister.
he's now a barrister.
Wow.
So we were a brilliant place. We had some fantastic kids.
So you've done your job in the community, serving the community as well.
Yeah.
So this has been a part of your life growing up in more than one ways as well.
Yeah. And we would have liked to have seen it continue that way. Funds aren't easy.
So what would be your apart from like just saying go, what would be your honest, because now that they've bought it, because just saying for that sake, what would be your honest word to the developers?
Well, I've already made my case quite clear to the developers. It's an ongoing problem. There's a big question mark on it. This isn't what the trustees would have the true trustees would have wanted from this building. They would have wanted it to have been started up again for the community, and that's why I say this isn't good, because this isn't affordable properties for the people that the original
And that's
Nelo
the question
James.
I wanted to ask. If it was affordable properties, would you be more lenient on
Well,
them?
I'm not a trustee. You'd have to ask Felix that, but I'm sure he would be of the same ilk. But if it was for the local people of Moss Side, Whalley Range, then things might be different, but it can't be, because in my opinion, they are not the trustees. I'm not going to perjure myself by saying any more, but they are not the proper trustees. He's a trustee, Pascoe's a trustee. They're the two people I trust. The rest of them can go boil their heads. And one way or another, I'm going to prove it. And if anything happens to him because of all this, I will hold this gentleman and all his cronies responsible. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay,
Okay?
lovely. All right. Have a good day, yeah? So, this is some of the history of the site, architectural character. So,
That's the way that things work. Because it's a different culture, and you see yourself, and we're just talking. So that's not how they it's the way, it's a cultural thing. And if people won't listen to you, what? You start shaking things down.
Felix, would you like just to say something to us?
Well, that's probably the next piece. The next thing is that you think you probably know the rest. Or having protected his.
No, I just wanted to just explain his side because I don't know, you know what I mean? He's not saying anything really.
So 3 years ago he had a stroke and had no language left.
Yeah.
And he's come back from that.
Yeah.
And this is likely to probably give him a
I know, but if he speaks, it might not give him a stroke, and this is the thing.
Well, you think? No. Sorry, it would be great if that was the case, but it's not. It's not the case. It's not the case.
It's a bit sad though, isn't it?
It's very sad.
The whole thing is it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've come from Jamaica and you've been here 20 years, at least you've got the grip.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You can fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you write? I
Definitely.
can't seem to find that paper that you know where you put the details. I didn't give it to you.
What do you want?
You know, you put your details on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You want me to do it again?
If you don't mind, or did I pass it to you? Or
Hold your pen in case I need it.
So I don't have to prove anything. Whatever. So you're saying, no, you're gonna that's how I respond. I've done nothing wrong. All I've said, and I repeat it what I'm saying. That's not on our property. That's not supposed to be here. They've got documents to say it's their property.
I don't need to ask his permission. No.
But I'm telling you,
This is the public.
because you said it. It's true.
This is the public place.
You don't care who it is. So I can't go in property and pull on my own property. I can't. Sorry?
It's not that you're here, that's the problem. It's what you're doing whilst you're here, that's the problem. You put your hands on somebody else and your behaviour constitutes a breach of the peace.
See, watch. Suddenly, I'm assaulting people now.
You say you assaulted anyone?
Well, I put in my hand. I put my hand on him.
Yeah.
I hold on. Like this, I did that. Like that now.
Does he want to be touched by you?
See that now? Because what happens when you start staying around the law now?
We're now in the circle, aren't we? Can't you just go home and like let it be until everything's sorted civilly?
I'm going to do that, but what's happening, like all I've said, come up for the property, that's all I've said. If you believe, please, can you come up my property, that's all I've been saying. Come off. Right? So I cannot stop any people from I cannot stop people.
That's not the issue that we're here for.
But that's an issue now, because I'm saying,
And I recognise it's an issue for you. But we told you that the avenues that we can take for that, and that's
What avenue?
The avenues forward with the council before.
no.
We just don't deal with this
So I
use of the land.
If I have to go to the council now?
At some point, if you have a dispute relating to the ownership of this land, it will be the council that you speak to about that. The land distributing bit. It's not the police. We're here because there's been a crime report. That's why we're here this time round.
What do you mean I'll go with the crime? And only because you say that, you know. It's only because you say that.
Look, we don't act off our own thoughts and feelings. We act off what people tell us.
You know, and I'm showing you, the moment you can say, I'm coming to a crime, simply because your uniform, and you're here, and I'm black. I am not coming to say, hold on a minute. Why would you? I don't trust anybody telling me things.
Plain and simple, we're here because somebody said that we need to be here. Call's been made to us.
And I've said, and all I've said to them, everybody, I've said, come on.
Right. Who's the chief? We've been called there twice now in regards to some sort of disturbance. First, took the boards down. There was a damage to it. Because some boards back there, we took them down. We've come here twice now. That was the last coming in. We have, yeah. We're not here to go.
Right, Felix. Need to let you know that now we're 14:45.
No, please, boss man, don't arrest him. So none of the man.
You know the situation.
Anything you can say may be used in evidence.
So they give him a chance to go home.
So there's a van here that's going to transport his
Boss man, please, you can't. You just had an heart attack a couple of years ago. I understand.
Absolutely out of my hands at this point, buddy. We were here earlier on and we were very, very reasonable.
Give him a second. Give him a second. Give him a second.
He'll take you home. I have to go home now.
I'm sorry, guys. He will go home now. He will.
No, we don't need to arrest him. Before you start talking about arrest, you have to understand what's going on here.
Man. Yeah.
I've already been here once.
How much of a sensitive situation it is for the community? Hold on a second. I'm going to tell you that this man blew me up in this place.
I'm not calling you. I'm just making sure that you make your way to the van.
Guys,
I'm really sorry, but you're now
No,
so these officers are taking into that
you're getting excited for
Step
no
back,
reason.
please, guys.
Move back. I wasn't asking you. Move back.
Thank you. You got a right to push somebody around.
Yes, I have. When you stand
No, I'm not in a police officer. I'm talking to him in a civil manner. You've got no right to put your hands on anybody. You're just a police officer. You don't assault people in the street, okay? You do not have the right to do that. Don't push me around. We're not happy. Okay.
Let's go, mate.
You didn't ask me nothing.
What's he done?
You didn't ask me
Tell
anything.
you what,
You put your hands on
can
me.
you make a recording of this?
I am making a recording now.
Is he being arrested?
That's what they're saying. Isn't it?
Absolutely the wrong thing.
It is, man. Why
This
is
is,
it arrested?
the irony of this is absolutely disgraceful.
That shouldn't happen.
None of these people
No, this
are
shouldn't
wrong.
happen, man. Why the police?
Listen, the old man was back out.
There's no way that he should be arrested. He is the legal owner. And there's a huge query. A huge
Step back.
query.
No, well,
Step back.
no.
There's been a huge query on this. This is quite
the street.
You have to understand what you're doing right now.
We've already been here, haven't we?
You have to understand what's
We've already been here and warned him earlier on today.
Guys, we're blocking the street. We're coming
You got anything in your pocket?
Let's do it off the road. Come on.
It's not going to stop what's happening, right?
No.
There's some zip that for a second.
You watch from there.
What's
You have to understand. You have to
Got to stand
understand.
on this statement here.
You have to understand what he's doing here.
And this is why we did arrest him earlier on. Please take your hand off.
No, it's not right.
Okay.
He's on an act.
But I'm staying where I can actually see
I'm not saying that, you know.
the way that Felix is being treated. Right
I've got you, mate. If you just want to pop your leg back, I've got you from behind.
I tell you, if Felix ends up in hospital,
Please, man.
I hope
No, that's not right.
I hope you're.
And you stay here, please.
If he ends up in hospital
This is
and
right.
anything has gone with him,
Boss man.
all being
But earlier today we've been out, haven't we?
Regardless, you've got to understand what you're doing here.
Man.
You understand what he's doing here as an old man.
Yeah.
You think an 80-year-old man is going to walk
Come
come here
on,
and
boss
start making
man.
mistakes with young people?
What harm could he do to anyone?
Just hold on a second. This man is the original trustee of this building. Right? This building is a trust. It's been here for over 50 years. I, as a kid, grew up in that place, and he grew up in there. He was my youth worker.
Come on. That's right.
The person who's on the trust for this building. I don't really want to have this conversation on the camera. If you don't mind turning that off, and I will tell you a bit more detail. But like I said, Unfortunately, we're all tied up here. Comes with a
The
bit
amount of
fraud.
aggression that has happened there
Don't
from
make
other
no sense.
people,
There's no aggression. It was
and
done
I don't see
peacefully.
them being
It was done peacefully. It wasn't aggressive. It was not
You
aggressive.
weren't here.
He wasn't put in cuffs.
They said
He wasn't put in cuffs. He came willingly.
I know, but he's got no choice.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. Now. I'm saying the charge is
He hasn't got a choice, has he?
He hasn't got a choice.
no. Of course, he hasn't got a
Just look
choice.
how many police came for one old
This is
80-year-old
why I'm
man.
standing here to see how he is being treated as he's being put into a police car. We have seen this kind of thing.
And they
We're-
said,
Why on earth
and
are
they
you
said he was
all
being
you?
aggressive to people who
Well, you
were
should be
attending
doing all the
their
jobs.
events.
Oh, honestly, I knew this would happen.
I'm glad you're
I
here
knew.
with that camera.
I knew this
really
had
am
happened
glad.
last Wednesday when I got the notice saying this. And I didn't actually, I was wanting not to get wound up, and I wasn't going to come until I saw what was going on.
It's an event for the people that are trying to develop.
It's the same thing, nothing has changed. Nothing has
No,
changed.
man, basically, just let him out, man. The longer you got him in there, he's just making his heart race, raising his blood pressure and all that.
I mean, any of
It's
you
not
who
right.
own the property, how would you like to be basically chucked out of your property?
If anything happens to him, I'm holding you, all Manchester City Police.
I mean, have we got your numbers? Actually,
Yeah.
I need to know who
Can
these
you get-
people are.
you can.
What are your numbers? I want to know exactly who it
They'll
is.
be on this camera thing
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, it will be.
I hope so. Yes, these days, actually, of course, I forget about cameras. It wasn't something that we knew. But it's just so wrong.
It's not right, is it?
No. And it's so awful, isn't it?
He's claiming to be the original owner, and they're arresting him. He's saying there's fraud committed against him.
Yeah.
So it needs to be established. Why are you arresting him? Why aren't you arresting the owner?
What did he
Yeah,
actually
because
do?
someone said that he touched
He shouted,
No,
he
someone
touched
said-
and shouted.
He's trying
What-
to assert his right of the property that he's the original owner,
Which
that
country,
they've
which country
defrauded,
do we all come
that
from?
he's
Are we all
still
from the same
the
culture?
trustee.
Do we all behave in the same do?
No, we
Do
don't.
we all talk?
She used to work over here, and she used to work over here. She was the manager. She was the teacher over here, and
For
they're
50
claiming
years.
that. And there's that lad who used to be a youth.
Yeah,
That
no.
chap actually helped him through the youth work.
Yeah,
He's helped so many people.
this is not, they shouldn't arrest him.
And it wasn't just him. I mean, if the others hadn't died, because they're all older, he wouldn't have been left in the situation of having to try and do it all on his own, because the other man lives in London, but he even came to support him.
You know, the priority is
Well, his car's on the street there,
into road.
on its own. What's going to happen? Has he locked it? I don't know whether it's locked. He's got his car keys in there.
We've got a duty to get him back to a safe place. So when he's released, they'll be brought
Okay.
back here to get his car. We won't just leave him at custody.
But what are you
I know, but what's the point of arresting him?
He's going to a custody suite to be interviewed.
Then what?
And then it's likely he'll be released. But
On
I
his
can't
own?
say that.
Can he not have somebody with him?
You
You can have a legal representative, but you can't take another person.
I know, but with it today being Saturday, will he be get released over the
Yeah, they
weekend?
weren't the same every day. There's no like weekend service or
Okay.
anything.
So who do you know that you're going to contact in that he is somebody who lives on his own?
So when he gets to custody, he'll be asked if he wants somebody notified and contacted.
We need to get hold of Ruth, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we need
My colleague's going through
Do you
all that
want to
with
just
him.
ask him, is he okay? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
He is alright. Officer's checking on him. Officer's checking on him. He's alright. Telling him he's okay. Officer's checking him.
Well, you don't-
Yeah, you can stand there.
I am standing there, bro, because you're acting like you want to use force or something now. Phoenix, are you okay?
Have you got a key with you? Where would the key in your home address? I'm just trying to have a conversation with him. Bear with me.
Is it possible to arrange
Where would it be?
just to arrest him out,
If I hear that word again,
We understand that, but that is no exception for that kind of behaviour. That's what was reported to us. I don't decide if he did or didn't commit an offence. That's why he goes to the state.
That's all he did. He didn't hit anybody. How can you arrest him for shaking a piece of wood?
I don't.
This is disgraceful. All these police, all these many police, and there's things going on all over Manchester, and you're all here arresting a 70-year-old man. They've arrested a 70-year-old man.
I've been there since 11 o'clock.
All these police to arrest one man who's shaking a piece of wood. He's not hit anybody. For God's
He was
sake.
saying, just take it off my property.
Yeah, that's all he was saying. He should. 2.5, 3 hours. Asking people to go and they wouldn't.
And everybody's standing there.
And
We all know what
yeah, I'm sorry.
You're going to say you're taking sides of trying to help the property developer.
That's an
You're trying to force.
absurd allegation.
I'm sorry.
Absurd.
It really comes across like
You should be ashamed of yourself for
Why?
suggesting it.
Why?
You just suggested that we pick this person up because of his race. You've got no basis for that whatsoever.
No.
No
What?
basis. At all.
Really?
Shame on you.
No.
Oh, no,
No, not shame on me. I'm
We've
sorry.
worked in these areas
I'm
for long
deeply
enough.
shocked.
Yeah.
Because I really, really thought that there was some kind, not just yourselves, people in there could see that we needed just quietly leave it and then proceed.
That's what we
It's
did.
going to be going on
That's what we did. We were here when we came. And we left it quietly.
Both of you did.
Why are we here again? We received another call.
I don't know.
And say what you want about us, but when you call, we come. That's how this works.
I know.
And that's what you want from
I
the police.
accept that. But what I don't know is why you called in the way that you were. And there were so many of us.
There are 5 police officers here because we need one vehicle in to go in.
Felix, you okay?
That's what we've got. That's the only reason there's 5 officers.
Right, and then that was it. We told him to calm down, we don't want to come back here again. As we come back again, the Asian lads there saying he's pushing them. He's shaking the board again.
Shaking what?
Shaking the board, so you can see them boards in there.
That's what I tell you before.
Alright,
Boards, man. Boards,
shaking
wooden
the boards.
boards.
And apparently he's caused a bit of damage.
Right, he has a bit more information than you have. That was made him privy to a statement about this building that was from the person who purchased this building. And there is a dispute about it. It's not just
This
clean.
policeman that I saw was claiming our children. And I went to go home and I saw him through.
That guy should have Kenny's really going to open that. And there's going to have to be some person that needs to have. You have an elderly man in the hospital. He might be, and he could have been misbuilt. He was supposed to be one of the original trustees and he's come like protesting. Someone